I have been unapologetic in my beliefs. I have gone out, and whether I'm in red areas or blue areas or purple areas of this state, I've said the same thing. My grandmother used to put it this way: when you tell the truth all the time, you don't have to worry about covering up for lies. And I believe that kind of honesty and earnestness, even in places where people don't agree with you 100%, is exactly what's going to allow us to win in November.
Well, the party of Trump has become more than ever the party of white racial grievance, anger, and anxiety. The Democratic Party, it seems to me, is much more fully embracing its role as the multiracial coalition in American politics. And it's manifesting itself in the diversity and the experience of its candidates. Let's bring in MSNBC political analyst Jason Johnson, politics editor of The Root, and Andrea Cristina Mercado, who's executive director of the new Florida Majority that was doing a lot of work in that race. And I want to get to you in a second, Andrea, but first, sort of big picture, Jason. You know, there's this question: Trump wins, right? What is the Democratic Party? And as Trump makes the Republican Party the party of white racial grievance, what do you see the Democratic Party forming into in reaction to that?
Well, the Democratic Party has decided we're going to continue to be America. You know, as Trump tries to narrow slice and narrowcast everything down to the angriest, meanest people he can find, the Democrats have said that our path to victory is by expanding the electorate and opening up the doors to candidates who might have previously been overlooked. So whether that means that they're supportive of these people at the beginning, because remember, you know, Gillum wasn't necessarily the party pick. If you look at the party elites, neither was Ben Jealous in Maryland. Stacey Evans was sort of put up as a stalking horse against Stacey Abrams in Georgia. But what the Democratic Party has learned is, look, if this person breaks through, we're all going to surround them and embrace them regardless of our sort of past apprehension. So that's a good thing. They're finally becoming a big tent party, and if their money continues where the enthusiasm is, that could have some surprising victories this fall.
Andrea, you've been knocking doors and on the ground in Florida, and I wonder, you know, you get Scott is in a pretty good position in terms of his race with Nelson. We see numbers out of Florida that show it to be doing the approval rating of the president is pretty high, and yet the nature of the state of Florida is that it is a diverse and multicultural place. What does the message of the Democratic Party look like in the state of Florida?
Well, first of all, I mean, I think when we have candidates that speak to the kinds of changes that people seek and candidates that really people can relate to. Andrew Gillum was the only non-millionaire in the race. Right. He was the only candidate who, you know, he went to public schools. He knew what it was like to live paycheck to paycheck. And then when you combine that with a progressive platform and really bold visionary ideas, people do get inspired. We do expand the electorate. That's the winning strategy. And in Florida, where races are often won or lost by 1%, that's like 66,000 votes in a state that has over 20 million people. We absolutely need to energize the electorate and make sure people understand that every vote counts and give them a candidate that they can believe in. And that's what we have with Mayor Gillum.
You're nodding your head, Jason.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. When people believe in a candidate, everybody else has to get in line. I know people don't like to talk about this, but a lot of prominent Democrats didn't give Gillum a chance. Cory Booker didn't campaign for him. Kamala Harris didn't campaign for him. They wanted them to come down. People didn't want to put political capital into him. Now that he's won, he's Mike Jones. Everybody's going to be excited, right? But at the end of the day, the party has to learn, and I think Pelosi and Perez have realized this, that, look, we can't pick winners and losers like we used to. If the public is enthusiastic about this person, that's who we're going to support.
You know, there's now it's a general election, Andrea, and I want to play Gillum's response to what happened, what DeSantis said today. There's some conflicting interpretation about what he meant, because I thought it was quite interesting in how he's going to navigate a new electorate, right? He was running a Democratic primary. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
Let me be articulate and clear here, which is we're better than this in Florida. I believe the congressman can be better than this. I regret that his mentor in politics is Donald Trump. But I do believe that the voters of the state of Florida are going to reject the politics of division. It's clear that the congressman is going to join Donald Trump in the swamp. We're going to leave them there, and we're going to continue to press toward a higher mark.
What do you think of that answer?
I mean, Ron Disaster, he is a nightmare. He had campaign ads that had his infant son building the wall. And absolutely, Andrew Gillum is running on a platform of unity, of Florida, where we all belong and all of our families can thrive. And I think that's why we're going to he's going to really claim victory in November.
Jason, one thing I thought was interesting there, you got the Democratic Party, right, is trying to represent the one truly multiracial coalition in American life. It's hard to do that. It's hard to put together effective multiracial coalitions. And one of the things is, if you have candidates who are non-white, who represent the diversity of the coalition, they don't have to perform wokeness in the way that a white candidate who is trying to helm that coalition does. So Andrew Gillum can sort of say, I'm not going to go there with him, and has the kind of authority to do that in a way that a white candidate would not.
Yeah, Chris, I completely agree. I mean, basically, Cynthia Nixon's message and Bernie Sanders' message, a lot of minority voters didn't believe it, but they'll believe it out of a brown person's mouth. And that's a big thing here. But I also think this, and this is something about Gillum that I think is important. He's also shown that, he's going to fight. Okay,
yes.
He clearly told Trump, hey, next time at me, when Donald Trump tweeted him this morning. And that's the kind of thing that voters want to see. They want to see a progressive candidate who's going to fight and someone who's willing to speak to everybody who's actually in the country. And that can happen with a white candidate, but I think the Democratic Party has finally embraced the idea that can come out of the mouth of a gay person, a black person, a Hispanic person, as long as they've got a good campaign behind them.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is don't be scared. Whatever you're doing, honestly, in politics, just don't. That's the lesson, honestly. I think it's one of the lessons of the Trump era. Just don't do what you're going to do. Let the chips fall in. Jason Johnson, Andrea Cristina Mercado, thank you very much.
Thank you.